Welcome to Latte with a Lawyer, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the stories of some of America's most successful lawyers, figuring out what makes them tick, how they creatively solve problems, and how others aspiring to be them can follow in their footsteps.
Okay, guys, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Latte with a Lawyer. I'm your host, Jonathan Brickman, and this afternoon we have with us Shawn Stottlemyer from the law firm of Mooney Law. Nice to have you on the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. So keep with the theme of the show, Latte with a Lawyer. I know we're in the afternoon. What's your morning beverage of choice?
A big glass of cold chocolate milk.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That's interesting. Wow. So you never really grew up. You're still like drinking chocolate milk. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. It's my favorite drink.
I actually had somebody on before this today, and was really interesting. They have coffee, but their milk comes directly from the cow. Nope,
Oh,
not from the store.
yeah. I know people that like their milk that way.
Really?
I've
never heard that before. It was so interesting. He said
Oh, yeah.
pasteurization was a little bit outdated at this point.
Right. The people like it fresh.
That's amazing. I thought that would not be healthy for you, but apparently I'm wrong.
Hey, there's no, you don't worry about the process and the hormones and things like that. You get it straight from the cow.
That's amazing. I mean, they still cool it and chill it and everything, but
Right.
but not, you're not going to your local wait, what is it? Kroger? What do you have out there?
Here, yeah, Kroger's more out further west than us. We have Giant's probably the big one. Yep.
Okay, Giant. Well, Giant's in Pittsburgh, Shane.
That's Giant Eagle.
Oh, that's Giant Eagle.
Yes.
Or
Giant Eagle.
Giant Eagle, as they say
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh. I see you're a Steelers fan in Pittsburgh.
Yes. I grew up near Pittsburgh, grew up rooting for the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins.
Excellent. So how do you think the Steelers are going to do this year? They lost Big Ben.
Yeah, we'll see. They work on that offensive line. Otherwise, they look pretty good.
Yeah. They're always good. I mean, it's in the blood, right?
That's right.
To have good football. I was there. Oh boy, I think they were going for like one for the thumb when I was in school in Pittsburgh.
That used to be the slogan.
Yes, that was a long time ago. Joe Green and Ernie Holmes and Terry Bradshaw, all those guys.
Yeah, I wear every time I wear my Jack Lambert jersey.
Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Those are iconic teams back then. So you grew up in Wheeling.
Well, I grew up in Ohio, across the river from Wheeling.
Oh, okay. What town? Steubenville or something?
It's actually a small town called Shadyside. It's about maybe half hour or so south of Steubenville, right on the river.
Okay. My first job when I graduated school, I worked at the Beaver Valley Power Plant, helping to construct unit number 2. And shipping port, which was right on the river.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
I do. Actually, yes.
That was my first. I was a civil engineer at Carnegie Mellon, and however, I'm not even sure how I got it, but I ended up working with a construction manager out of Boston, and they were the construction manager on that job. So I came back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, awesome! I love Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a great place. So tell us about the kind of law that you practice. It looks like you're a criminal defense attorney.
Yeah, I do general practice. Criminal defense is it's my love. It's what I like to do. But we do a whole host of family law, civil law, estate planning. It's a little bit of everything.
Okay. I mean, what do you do? Like,
I would say primarily criminal.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any focus with that?
No, all types. I mean, from everything from speeding tickets to homicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So give me an example of a big memorable case that you worked on.
So this one will probably be ongoing for a while. It's memorable for I think a couple reasons. One, it made news, but the guy was actually a divorce client of mine. He was alleged to have shot his wife and killed her, and then drove up the road a couple miles and shot himself.
Okay.
He lived. He's charged with homicide. But because of the alleged attempted, suicide. He suffered a traumatic brain injury.
Mm.
And what makes this different than, and because of that injury, he's not competent to go to trial.
Mm.
And so it's not like a mental health issue, bipolar or schizophrenia or something like that, that they would typically try to treat people with and regain competency. He's not going to be able to do that. So turned out he's in this gray area. And the county, the courts, the judge, the prosecutor, myself, his family all had to work very hard with trying to figure out, how to handle this. And ultimately, because he was not competent to proceed, he's actually sitting at home right now, living his life, although in a diminished capacity.
Yeah.
Never be able to be competent to proceed forward. So they can't hold him in jail. They can't hold him in a psychiatric facility. So he's home, and it was a very interesting.
Is this recent? Is this a recent case?
Yeah, within the last, couple, it was a lot of litigation. So maybe the incident was maybe 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
But the litigation is ongoing. The Commonwealth is able to have him examined once a year to see if he's competent to proceed with the charges or not. So it's probably going to be technically ongoing the remainder of his life.
Wow. So it's interesting. So someone can commit, a heinous crime, and if they're incompetent, they escape charges.
Well, no. That's what makes this one really interesting, because typically they would try to restore competency with a mental health issue, with medication and counseling. Sure. So typically what would happen if somebody's not competent, they're actually held in a medical facility, treating that illness, and they can actually, have to stay there.
Yeah.
But because this was due to a traumatic brain injury, psychiatric facility is unable to help him, so they can't put him there. The law says you can't continue to hold them because you can't bring them to trial. So he hasn't technically avoided the charges. The charges are still pending, and they'll remain pending in perpetuity until he, and if he's does regain competency, they will bring him to trial. But a man of his age and the type of injury he sustained, all the doctors agreed he's never going to regain competency. Right. So ostensibly he did avoid charges in a way, but I would say a very rare way of doing it.
Yeah, interesting. And so is he able to take care of himself and live at home, or do these guys care?
He does live at home, but he does require care. He would not be able to. He can live his life, generally, but he can't pay bills. He can't, comprehend. He needs help.
Okay.
He'd never live completely independent.
Wow, interesting. Sounds like an interesting case. And that was I don't remember it, but that was a pretty high profile case, I would imagine.
Yeah, for the area, for Central PA, it was in the news a lot.
Oh, I would think so, for sure. What's any other sort of typical kinds of cases that you tend to work on?
A lot of cases. I tend, for the firm, most of the bigger cases, that your sexual assault cases, some homicides. The most homicides we see right now are the drug delivery resulting in death cases, where somebody's selling heroin and somebody passes away, and it's usually found. Firearms cases, any type of criminal case. You name it. That's where I'm at. I'm in court, spend most of my days in the courtroom.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And are you doing trials?
Oh yeah. I've tried several cases a year, depending. COVID kind of slowed that down, but we've since ramped back up. I try cases, I would say, really regularly.
Oh, you do? Okay, interesting. And these are jury trials, right?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay, interesting. How do you prepare for those trials to make sure that you prevail?
So it's usually a lot of work ahead of time, preparing witnesses, preparing my clients. And the biggest thing, I want my client to be prepared for the process and what it's going to be like to be in the courtroom. That's usually where I start, and how I want them to behave, what to expect, how to react to things. And then it's, really sitting down and knowing the case, inside and out. And so if anything is said, you're able to react quickly to it. Or, you have I always tell my clients, the Commonwealth is going to have their narrative and we're going to have our narrative. And we need the jury to hear, listen, understand. And that's our game plan. We're building everything has a purpose from the time we walk into the courtroom to pick the jury until the jury is left for deliberations. Every word spoken and every mannerism has a purpose. Of course, best laid plans, you have to be, ready to adapt on the fly as well.
Sure. So interesting. And do you do focus groups? Do you mock trials to prepare for a case?
What I like to do, yes. What I really like to do, and I've found helpful recently, is having my client cross-examined in preparation for their testimony. I'll bring an attorney in to play prosecutor, and I will do the direct exam just like in trial. So we script it out so my client knows what questions he's going to be asked.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the prosecutor is going to ask him, and he doesn't. We can prepare our best, but you never know. And so I have somebody cross-examine them, and I really think that's helped with my client's preparation for trial.
Okay. But you don't know how the jury is going to respond, right? So how do you prepare for that? So you make sure that they buy your story.
Just everyday experience. Your jurors are your people in the community. And I've done enough jury trials, and I'm been in the community long enough, and you try to pick a jury and you never know. You never know what's in somebody's head, but you just do your best to put forth your narrative.
Yeah. Got it. I mean, that's the ultimate, right? Where you're really trying to tap into the emotions of the jury, right?
Yeah, and you have to grab their full attention, and you're making sure they're looking at you. And if you feel like you're losing them, you do something to draw them back in. Yeah.
Interesting. So tell us about how you became a lawyer? Like how did that journey go?
It's probably different than most. Like I said, I grew up in Eastern Ohio, very industrial, the coal mines in the hills and all the factories along the river and plants and things like that. When I graduated high school, I didn't have much direction. I went to a 2-year technical school that didn't last but one semester. Then I wanted to be a professional baseball umpire, so I went to school in Florida.
Wow, no kidding.
The Harry Wendelstadt School for Umpires, and it was taught by major league and minor league umpires, which was very, very cool. And came back, and during this time, I right after high school, I started delivering pizzas. That's what I was doing for a living. After the umpire school thing, I was kind of directionless, but in the meantime, I had met my wife. She was going to school in the area, and things clicked, and we both worked. I was delivering pizzas. She was a bank teller, and we were paying her way through school. And when she graduated from college, I started the very next semester at age 25. Met a professor there, Dr. Mashad, who basically became my mentor. He got me through school, did really well, and went to law school here in Carlisle at Dickinson, and stayed here, and I've been here since.
That's great. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Are you a first generation college student?
Neither of my parents went to college.
Yeah.
My grandmother, though, as an adult, after my grandfather had passed, he passed young. My grandmother actually went to college and had a degree, and she was a nursing administrator at the hospital after being a nurse for several years. So not technically first generation, but almost.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Very interesting. That is, I saw your background. I was curious about that, but that's a huge transition in your life. That's
everybody. We kind of joke about it. I delivered pizza for 11 years, and
yeah.
My wife is the one that really got me into school. My mom still jokes about it. My wife went to my mom. She was my girlfriend at the time, and said, "Shawn's going to go to school, and then he's going to go to law school and be a lawyer." My mom still jokes, and she's laughing like, "Yeah, right, I'm delivering pizza." But here I am.
That's fantastic. What was the story behind the baseball umpire? Were you a baseball player growing up?
Well, yeah, I played baseball from the time I was 5.
Okay.
And I have a younger brother. So when I was, a couple leagues ahead of him growing up, the coaches there would say, "Hey, do you mind umpiring this baseball game?" And I'd get $5 to umpire the base, or if I did behind home plate, it was $10. And I was 13, 14, 15 when I started that. And by the time I was in high school, that's actually how I was making my money, umpiring games. And after high school, along with delivering pizza, then I started umpiring more the older kid, the Legion ball and the high school ball and fall league and stuff like that. And I thought, well, I'm not doing anything else. And found the Harry Wendelstadt School for Umpires and went down, and I tried my hand at that up until once I went to college. I kind of had to give it up, working full time and going to school. Didn't leave any more time for umpiring baseball, but I did it for years. I loved it.
Oh, wow. Where is that school? What part of Florida?
It was in Daytona Beach.
Oh, Daytona Beach. Okay. I live in South Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. So I live 20 minutes south of West Palm Beach. I was curious. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Ormond Beach technically, but we stayed in Daytona.
Okay. Very good. Well, I mean, baseball is a big sport down here.
Oh, yeah. I
As
thought
you
I
know.
saw a curveball in Ohio, and then I went to Florida and saw some of those boys down there, and I was I didn't know what I was seeing at first.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because, I know there's a lot of good athletes that come out of here, baseball, football, basketball, really, but you don't see them because of the way that the communities are organized here. It's not like they're open really to the public. It's very like behind the fences.
Right.
And you don't see as much of it here. I mean, I'm from the Northeast where, you go to the park and you see kids out there playing. Here, you don't see it the same way. You
Right.
don't realize there are so many good athletes here, but there are a ton of good athletes from here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Pennsylvania's got its share of good football players too.
Yeah, you grow up playing tackle football as a 10-year-old on pavement. You get to be pretty tough.
Oh yeah. No, I remember driving from Massachusetts to Pittsburgh, and somewhere in central Pennsylvania around Penn State. I remember we hear this big roar, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it must be like a Penn State football game. It was like a high school football game.
Yeah.
The huge crowd.
Well, where I grew up, it's driving up and down either side of the river in the Ohio Valley. It's really cool because most of the football stadiums are along the river, and you can drive, in either direction, north or south, and you just see stadium after stadium every 15 or 20 minutes. You're driving past another football stadium lit up on Friday night.
Oh, is that right? I haven't experienced that. That's pretty interesting. Did you
Yeah.
watch the show Friday Night Lights?
I didn't, but that's
fantastic show.
Yeah.
That was based in Texas, but it was all around, sort of football, high school football.
Right.
It was really good. So anyway, interesting. So you like comedians, or what's behind that? Your influence.
I do. When I put that, I do. I always like I'm a comedy. I get that, from my mom, my work ethic from my dad, but my sense of humor from my mom. And I've always liked comedy. My mom used to put Bill Cosby on for us.
Oh yeah, Bill Cosby.
When I was a kid, things were different, obviously.
Sure.
And ever since then, I like it, and I think it's helpful when I say that because you can relate that to a jury trial where you're trying to captivate this 12 or 14 person audience, where you're out there, you're kind of on an island, and so are they. And sometimes obviously there's not a lot of humor in these situations that I can't use, but what I try to take from them is how they captivate their audience, communicating a lot of times on controversial subjects, and being quick and witty and on your feet. So I think it's really there may be a comparison there that maybe we don't really think about, but there really is.
Yeah.
And they're funny. So I like those,
Yeah, they are funny guys. Yeah, no, I actually saw a platform that another lawyer was on where they literally go on and they like tell this story. There's like it's not a comedy platform, but it's like this group where they go on and do that. But yeah, I mean, there's something to be said. I agree with you for like sort of practicing and presenting in front of a group. I mean, that's what you're doing.
Right.
And
Not trying to be as funny as Richard Pryor, but the way he or some of the other guys, really hold their attention and keep people interested. And part of it too is, you want the jury to like you. If you're not likable, they're probably not going to like your client or like your case. And
So that's interesting. So, I mean, do you think that's the critical factor for them to like you?
No, I think the narrative and the facts are the critical factor. But you know, you take every edge you can get, and
Yeah.
you know, I think, you know, when you see an attorney that comes across where the jury's not liking them, they're not listening to them as much, and they're worried more about I really not liking this guy than they are the story that the person's trying to tell.
Yeah. So what do you do to make sure that they like you?
Just be myself. I mean, I'm a people person. When I walk into any of the courthouses, I practice in several counties pretty regularly. You know, friendly to everybody, say hi to everybody. I like that, and I like to be around people. I like to talk to people, and so I just talk to them pretty much like I'm talking to you, or like I
Yeah.
would talk to my buddies hanging out.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Um, what else you think makes a lawyer or someone like the kind of work you do successful?
Preparation. I mean, you have to be prepared. You don't want to be asked a question by a judge in the middle of a hearing in front of your client. Typically, a judge won't call you out in front of a jury, but
Yeah.
you know, you don't want to be asked a question and not know the answer, or look like you haven't done your homework, and nothing's going to aggravate somebody more or make you look incompetent in front of your client than not knowing the case or a fact or a point of law. You know, so preparation and effort. And you know, I always say I really wasn't born to being a lawyer. I didn't grow up around this or anything like that. And Woody Hayes from Ohio State had a quote that said, "I've always came across people that are smarter than me, but I haven't came across anybody that can outwork me." And I always took that to heart.
Yeah. There's no question. As the expression goes, persistence beats smarts any day of the week.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with that. But as a defense lawyer, particularly a criminal defense, I would imagine that, you know, it's your idea of success is is probably not wins, right? Because it's hard to win a lot of those
It's
cases.
very difficult. It's very
Yeah.
difficult to win. That's why it's
Right.
so satisfying when we do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, look, you know, it's helping people through the system, so it's not always about the jury trial. You know, it's a small percentage that actually make it, even though
Yeah.
I'm probably trying substantial amount of cases per year comparatively, but a very small percentage actually go to trial, and
Right.
a lot of them is somebody, you know, made a mistake, and you got to keep this from you know, harming their life. And when you do a good job for somebody, and you know, you make them feel better about their situation and let them know it's not as bad as it's going to be. That's pretty a big win too.
Or lessen the charges, right?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sure it's pretty satisfying to defend. I mean, what about when you have somebody that maybe you don't necessarily agree with, or
Well, that's when I jokingly say at the end of the day, we're mercenaries. So, but at the same time, everybody has that right to a defense, and either a defense or regardless of what they've done, you know, they don't understand the court system. You know, they don't understand what's happening to them. And explaining that and making that easier and getting them through that system, even if they've done something terrible, you know, it makes it easier on society as a whole, you know, when we can make this system work. So everybody needs a lawyer. And you know, and sometimes people are charged with crimes that you'd read a newspaper article, and the person's the worst person in the world, but guess what, they're really not. And the charges may not be accurate, they may be overcharged, they may be outright lies. So you know,
yeah, someone
so
has to tell the story and defend them. Yep. No, I think that's what makes the system great. I agree with you. I mean, you got to let the process play out, right?
right,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it should work if you got both sides sort of pulling on each other. You should come to a decision that makes sense. Sometimes I'm
Nobody,
sure it doesn't happen.
they haven't invented a better system yet.
Yeah, I don't think there is a better one. I ask that question a lot, and everyone seems to think it's the best system, and you tend to come up with the right outcome most of the time.
Right.
So
I agree.
that's good. How big is your law firm, by the way?
We're medium sized. We have 7 full-time offices throughout
Okay.
South Central Pennsylvania. We've actually started an expansion into Maryland as well. So
Oh, okay.
I think there's probably 13, 14 attorneys. We do a little bit of everything. We are full service. We have everything from workers' comp and personal injury, bankruptcy to criminal and family and real
Okay.
estate,
Yeah.
you name it.
And on the plaintiff and defense side, or just the
Yes.
both?
No, both. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, workers' comp and personal injury is plaintiffs only, I would say, for the most part. But
Okay.
everything else is both.
What would you say is the biggest sort of the core of the practice?
Well, we have most of our attorneys are general practice, but I think everybody's pretty equally important. It's hard to say. I think the core is really, we're just like a community-based law firm, really. So it's almost anybody can walk off the street and get the help they need. I think that's really the core of our firm.
Okay, so it's not one particular type of law.
No,
It's
we're
general practice.
general practice with we're full service.
Okay, good, excellent, good. And you guys are expanding. Good, that's good.
Yeah, always. Yeah, we've expanded over the years. We've expanded quite a bit.
Have you been there the whole time? Is this your only place?
No, I jumped around a little bit. When I first got out of law school, I was in Carlisle for a little bit. Then I went up to State College, Pennsylvania for a little bit and kind of cut my teeth for about a year and a half. And my man, John Mooney, who founded the firm, interviewed with him. And that was back in 2013. And I've been here ever since. John hired me on. He's enjoying retirement now. But
Oh, is he? Okay.
yeah, hired me on. And that's, changed everything for me, really.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that's a good story. And the firm, you guys leverage technology for the practice, and what's the view on using tech?
We use it a lot, especially with COVID. But even before then, we're networked. All our offices, including our, not part-time staffed offices, are fully integrated. I can log on to any computer in any office and see my desktop. I can do that from home as well. I could always do that even before COVID. After COVID, we set it up where our staff or attorneys can work remotely just as if they were in their office. Did a lot of Zoom meetings and things like that through COVID. So we're fully integrated. We're up to date on the tech.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it sounds like everybody is really embracing it. I think if you're not, you're kind of falling behind, right?
Right. And we had a bar association meeting here this week, and we had a big discussion about that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. The adversarial proceedings, those are hard by Zoom or video. We don't, the consensus, we don't like those. But for your procedural stuff, the consensus was keep it on Zoom. It's easy.
Makes sense. Why not? I mean, you save the trip, right? It's
Yeah.
efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, my clients pay a lot less in billable hours if I don't have to drive somewhere for a 5-minute,
Absolutely. Makes sense. All right, well, good stuff. So just sort of to finish this off here, just final words that you want people to know about you and your law firm and the best way to get in touch with you.
So we're all over. It is Mooney Law, South Central Pennsylvania. If you Google us, you'll find us all over the place. Obviously in the phone book if people still use that, but Google Mooney Law is the easiest way. Go to our website, or you can Google my name. Shawn is SHAWN and last name is Stottlemyer, STOTTLEMYER. You can find me and shoot me an email. We're always happy to help, and I think you'll find people here that are easy to talk to and help with any problem you have.
Excellent, good stuff. All right, well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Once again, for everybody, Shawn Stottlemyer from Mooney Law in Pennsylvania, rooting for the Steelers.
Hopefully, that's right.
They have a great year.
Yeah,
I'm a Bostonian, so I root, but because I went to school in Pittsburgh and lived there, I root for the Steelers and the Patriots.
Oh, that's rough.
It is rough. It's rough, but It is what it is.
That's this weekend too. I don't know when this airs, but the Steelers Patriots are this weekend.
Oh,
for
it's
us.
this weekend? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be touring there. But now I get to root for Tampa Bay because they got Tom Brady down there.
Right. Oh boy.
So
I grew up in Ohio, and Tom Brady's been torturing me for decades between Michigan and New England.
there you go. All right. Well, listen, on that note, I'll let you go. This show is sponsored by EmotionTrac, and we are a legal tech platform that helps litigators do case prep. And we collect interesting insights from our AI-powered platform. So listen, thanks again, Shawn. Nice spending time with you.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. That was I enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed listening to the podcasts